Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.
My friends and I always tune into the Todd Levitt Law Show. Todd is entertaining, informative, and always delivers the goods.
Todd might not tell you what you want to hear, but he's going to tell you what you need to hear. And all you got to do is listen.
Hold on, Todd. Don't let go. It's time for the Todd L. Levitt Law Show.
Welcome to the Todd L. Levitt Marijuana Law Podcast. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm yours truly, attorney Todd L. Levitt, broadcasting and podcasting all over planet Earth in the middle of the mitten. That's right, folks, the mitten, in a beautiful nutrient field that's always full of nutrients. With my good friend in the Black Diamond Group Mothership. No poem required, but here it comes anyhow. The water is wet, the sky is blue, and Craig Russell, we love you. How you doing, Craig?
Todd, I am slathered in barbecue sauce with pickles and onions.
You are the king of McRib, referring to your latest YouTube extraordinarily amazing, that's not even a word, YouTube show on McDonald's McRib sandwich with sauce dripping all over your face.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So for those, we talk about it each and every week now. What are we talking about?
I do fast food reviews on YouTube. It's That Fast Food Guy on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And I just did a review for the McRib, which is everywhere now, nationwide. All 14,400 McDonald's stores in the entire country are serving the McRib. And I couldn't be happier.
I don't eat ribs.
It's not really a rib.
Yeah, but I just don't do ribs. Can I tell you why?
Sure.
Because it looks like a rib. I can't. Look. My cousin AZ, he can smoke a rib like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it just falls off the bone.
Sure.
But I have issues. I love meat. I'm a meat eater. I have no problems with a T-bone and other delicious steaks. But something about the rib or getting a roasted chicken because it looks like the chicken minus the head. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
The ribs remind me of my ribs. I can't eat a rib. I mean, if you just took the meat off for me and put it in a pile, then I'd be okay. But I can't eat something that looks like the animal itself.
Well, you do know the McRib. That's exactly what they do. It's a boneless rib. They take it's processed pork meat and they just form it into the shape of a patty.
I get you. Yeah. That's why I can have a nugget, like a McDonald's chicken nugget.
Right.
But I have issues with the roasted chicken because of the head, missing the head. It's like when I was a kid and all of our relatives from the old country would come over and they want to buy, look at a cow's head for the tongue, or we'd go to the butcher and you see all the fish market, all the fish laid out there like that. If you cut open the fish, serve me some salmon, some whitefish, I'm okay with it, but I can't look at the animal itself.
Are you talking? You're talking about you're talking about at the grocery store, the rotisserie chickens that they have at the grocery store.
Yeah, I'm talking about anything that looks like the animal itself. I mean, cut up the chicken, put it in a pile, I'll eat it, but not when I have to look at That's why I can't eat wings. Okay, we're talking defects here. Chris.
Yeah,
we're talking defects.
But there's the thing: you'll never have to worry about that with a McRib. Because they don't look anything like a pig. I'm just telling you.
No, I understand. I've been to pig roast before. I have issues with that too. Give me some pulled pork on a sandwich.
Yep.
I just can't see you Okay, good.
You don't want to see the pig's head with the apple in its mouth. Yeah, I totally get that. That kind of weirds me out too. But
exactly.
But getting back
Craig,
to the McRib is delicious. Your
show is outstanding, though. So I would recommend everybody get to YouTube, subscribe to That Fast Food Guy. Craig, you're so entertaining, and that's why I chose Red Skies at Night by The Fix to open up the show of all shows today.
Well, speaking about entertaining shows and entertaining people, this show is chock full of information and infotainment. This is where it's happening this weekend. Come on.
Come on now. This show has been downloaded. Big shout out to all our listeners in Japan and Australia, believe it or not, in Europe and Germany. Germany's come on strong. A lot of downloads in Germany, all over. Ukraine, let's see, we're listening, but France, top listeners, and France is one of our top countries, but New Zealand, the Philippines, I don't know, people just want to listen to us, go back and forth, I guess.
California, that's another country that downloads us a lot. Texas,
Illinois,
hey,
not Illinois.
Can I give you a little McRib trivia?
Sure.
Okay, the McRib is only for a limited time at McDonald's, but there is one country where the McRib is served year-round. Do you know what the country is?
I do. It's called Texas, by the way, and it's its own country.
That is not
Big
correct.
Shout out to the independent state of Texas.
Not correct, but you did mention it as one of the countries in Europe that listens to the show a lot.
Yeah, France.
No, it is not France.
Okay, I give up.
It is Germany. Germany is the only place you can get the McRib year-round. They serve it there all the time.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Now you do. You know the rest of the story.
Hey, guess where you can get the strain of the show year-round?
Where is that?
Well, probably at some of your favorite dispensaries around the country and around the world. And what is the strain of the day, you ask, Craig?
I do ask. Todd, what is the strain of the day today for the show?
It would be ice cream cake, everybody. So big shout out to everybody enjoying ice cream cake on their birthday. So happy birthday to everyone out there enjoying ice cream cake, which is basically a cross between wedding cake and gelato. So you've had some wedding cake before, Craig, and you enjoyed it. Nice indica, very high in THC, 22%, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, but averaging 22%. Nice indica, completely relaxed, chillaxed, but not for the show because we got a huge show today.
I'm a big fan of the frosting. Let's just put it that way.
Big fan of the frosting, absolutely. Hey, we got a huge show. So
big show.
Coming up in the show, and we want everyone to stay tuned. We have a number of stories to get to. I came across this story, and here's the headline, folks. Can be enforced to listen to, you ready for this?
Okay.
If you were detained and you were sitting in jail,
all right,
and you were forced to listen to... Would that be considered cruel and unusual punishment if you were forced to listen to Baby Shark over and over?
Yes, it would.
So we're going to discuss that.
Okay.
We have a story.
All right.
And I also came across a landmark decision, folks, where a cheerleader was kicked off the squad for Snapchatting the F word in a post. So, then the question becomes, how and where does education fall into suppressing your First Amendment rights? And so they kicked a cheerleader off the squad for that. And so we're going to talk about that. And Craig, Russell the Muscle, you ready? This is your favorite topic, the worst places in the world to get busted, folks, with weed. That's right, the worst places in the world to get busted with weed. So we're going to be talking about that also. And I have an interesting story whereby a lady accused me of not having an inept ability to read and understand instructions. So, we'll get to that story.
Okay,
so,
we'll get to that. Plus, we're going to talk about the monolith. Are you sick of the monolith?
No, you want to talk about the monolith. Well, I'm over it.
You're sick of the monolith. Okay.
Yeah.
So
but I'll give you your due. You want to talk about it? Go
Yes,
ahead.
I do. Just to recap, if you don't know, this monolith, and a monolith is a big like about 12 or 14 feet. It's made of aluminum. They found it in the Utah desert. Just showed up one day. They were surveying the Bureau of Land Management in Utah, found this monolith, took pictures of it. People started coming out. It became a tourist attraction. Overnight, it was gone. Just gone. Disappeared. Oh, my God, it's the aliens. Oh, my God, they're coming to get us, blah, blah, blah. Well, then this monolith turns up in Romania. And as quick as it's in Romania, gone. Now it's in California, in the mountains in California. Now, they know what happened. The New York Times had a camera guy, and he took pictures. 4 guys came and dismantled the one in Utah. And then they put it up in Romania. Don't know if it's the same one in Romania. The one from Utah is probably the same one that's in California now. Who knows where it's going to be by the end of all this? I have a theory. Would you like to hear my theory, Todd?
Sure, go ahead, Craig.
My theory is, and I'm cynical about stuff like this is an advertising thing. This is a marketing ploy. My guess is that monolith is going to show up in Tampa Bay on the very first Sunday in February. Why, you ask? Because of the Super Bowl. It's some Tesla, some international corporation is going to begin, they're publicizing something. It's a big marketing scheme. They're getting all this free publicity. All these news channels are just as quick to say, oh, the monolith is now here in California, blah, blah, blah. I'm guaranteeing you it's going to show up in Tampa Bay just in time for the Super Bowl.
You just fed right into what they're trying to do. So I'm sure they appreciate that. I would rather be forced to listen to Baby Shark over and over than having to sit through another monolith conversation or story, but I had to do it because Craig Russell, you're the producer, you're behind the glass right there. I don't even control the microphones because if it was up to me, we never would have talked about that.
Well,
I would rather listen to Baby Shark, Craig. I'm just saying. But I get where you're coming from. I agree with you on the Super Bowl. I
think it's totally there's no aliens or any of that crap. It's totally a marketing thing, and we're going to find out about it soon.
All right.
Totally think that.
There you go. I gave you your due, so
okay.
you could assist them in promoting that.
Speaking of the Baby Shark story, we've got to take a break on the Todd Levitt Law Show, but when we come back, we're going to talk about that and about the little old lady who thinks you can't read instructions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show, featuring not just The Fix and one of my all-time favorite top 5 songs from the 80s, Red Skies at Night, Craig Russell, the most.
Whoa.
That's right, Craig.
Whoa. 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 I'm singing the song, Red Skies at Night.
Craig, of all the songs we have sang on this show, that has got to be the worst rendition. And you can actually sing. I've heard you sing Sinatra. I've heard you sing all kinds of great tunage. But that was, you have way too many McRibs in you. But the Baby Shark, for those of us whose kids are young adults, our generation of kids, it was the Barney song.
Sure.
Okay. That was the purple dragon. Wasn't Barney a dragon?
It was a dinosaur. Purple dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Yep.
My daughter Rachel, it drove me nuts, okay, with that Barney song. And then it was the Teletubbies, which I refused to watch.
Oh, worst.
But I guess for us 55 and older, and you're in your 90s, you could look back on our youth and say, okay, Kimba the What Lion was his name.
Yeah, Kimba the White Lion. Yep.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's the demon on wheels. Or the Brady Bunch.
Yep.
There's a story.
Well,
followed by Gilligan's Island.
I'm going to throw out Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Remember Hong Kong Phooey?
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Or
so let's talk about the Baby Shark.
Let's talk about the Baby Shark.
The question becomes, would it be considered cruel and unusual punishment if you were being detained and forced to listen to that song over and over for extended periods of time, Craig? So that's the question.
Technically, probably yes. Realistically, no. Not at all. But technically, there's probably some human rights thing that would say you should not be forced to have to listen to that or classical music or anything like that. But realistically, no, you can deal with it. People can deal with it.
So this story came out of Oklahoma, great state of Oklahoma. I flew into Oklahoma once on the way to Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
2 former Oklahoma County detention officers, Craig, and their supervisors were actually charged in district court with a misdemeanor, multiple misdemeanor counts of cruelty to a prisoner. They forced inmates to listen to Baby Shark on repeat for extended periods of time.
Baby shark do-do-do-do-do-do, baby shark do-do-do-do-do-do, baby shark do-do-do-do-do-do, baby shark.
Okay, so my first question to you, Todd, is what is an extended period of time? Was it a half an hour? Was it 8 hours? Was it 2 days?
I don't have specifics in regard to that, but as a defense attorney, my first thought is if you're defending those, officers, is playing Baby Shark really cruelty to a prisoner? That's the first question. But, and then again, you have to look at statutory language and what, if anything, the United States Supreme Court considers, cruelty to a prisoner. And so that's what the question is. I was going to say, since, you can take a look at the Eighth Amendment, which creates the prohibition in legal context. And the answer really, folks, comes down to whether those Eighth Amendment rights are interpreted from an originalist or non-originalist perspective when it comes to what we now consider cruelty to a prisoner. And we know from, the wars that have taken place over the last couple decades, you hear stories of how our soldiers would play certain types of music over and over to detainees to get them to crack or whatnot.
I mean, let's be really honest here. Now, look, if you're holding a prisoner and you are withholding their right to go to the bathroom, or you're withholding food or water from them, or you're keeping them in freezing cold or boiling hot or something like that, that's one thing. Having to listen to a song over and over, it's not like they're being waterboarded or anything like that. So let me ask you this, Todd. Let's play a little game. Shall we play a game? Would you like to play a game?
Well, absolutely.
Okay. You are the prosecutor and you're the defense attorney in this case. If you're the prosecutor, what do you do? And if you're the defense attorney, what do you do?
If I'm the prosecutor, even before I charge someone, I'm going to have one of my assistant prosecutors or the chief assistant prosecutor interpret the law based on the facts. And do the facts of the case fit any type of statute, state or otherwise, that could justify charges being issued? And in 1958, the U.S. Supreme Court actually took up that task, Craig. And there was a case, Trope versus Dulles, D-U-L-L-E-S, I'm not saying that right, and that the notion of cruel and unusual punishment could evolve over time. So the United States Supreme Court, in an opinion, I don't have it in front of me, determined that the notion of cruel and unusual punishment could evolve over time, and the best measurement would be society's evolving standards of decency. And you got to remember when I mentioned the Eighth Amendment. So the question is, the Eighth Amendment was ratified at the end of the 18th century. And if you look at the actual text of it, then you would only find unconstitutional those punishments that were available and existed at that time that were considered unacceptable. And so obviously they didn't have, Baby Shark in the 18th
or
century,
the Chipmunks or any other kind of music, or anything like that. Recorded music. There wouldn't be anything like that.
It's an evolving standard in regards to cruel and unusual punishment. So as a prosecutor, and I've never been a prosecutor, no offense against my prosecutorial friends, I'm on the right side, not the dark side. We always refer to our buddies who are defense attorneys that go work for prosecutors as, you went to the dark side, you're a prosecutor now. And one thing that, look, there's a lot of great prosecutors out there, but one thing that just pees off us defense attorneys is when you have a defense attorney who becomes a prosecutor and forgets where they came from, forgot for some reason, what families go through when someone makes a poor choice or a poor decision and they end up being charged or indicted and what goes along with that, all the emotions, all the fear, all the anxiety, all the turmoil it creates. So, us defense attorneys, we deal with that every day, day in and day out. And there are some great prosecutors in the counties in which I practice that understand that, and they're very sympathetic. But, this is just, across the board. And it's the same thing with judges. If you have a judge who was a defense attorney, you would hope that he or she would bring a little bit more compassion to the bench and how they decide cases based on their experience and representing people and their families. Because when an individual goes to court, that family goes to court, Craig. It's not just the individual, but it's the entire family, the loved ones, the friends that support that individual. And there's so much emotion and anxiety, whether they have kids or parents, or they're about to lose their job or their CDL, their ability to earn a living. There's a lot of emotion there, and you want judges who sit on a bench to recognize that. And when you have an individual who goes to law school, becomes a prosecutor, and then becomes a judge, not that individual is not going to be a great judge and be open-minded, because I can list 24 judges who were prosecutors, became judges, and they're fantastic. But, these are things that I think about as a defense attorney. So as a defense attorney, my argument is, well, as a prosecutor, I'm going to argue that playing Baby Shark over and over and over, and I'd have to look at the language of the statute or the local ordinance in which it was charged, meets all the elements of the crime. Because if you're a prosecutor, your job is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt all the elements that are contained in the information in which you're charging an individual. You have to meet all the elements. And when you go before a jury, the question becomes, is there a jury instruction, that fits cruel and unusual punishment involving Baby Shark? So there's a lot of different factors involved here, Craig, as a prosecutor.
Yeah, and I would say if you're taking this in front of a jury, there's no jury in the world that's going to be able to, without a shadow of a doubt, all 12 people say, no, that's not cruel and unusual torture. There's going to at least be 3 or 4 of them that go, look, I'm a parent. I've had to hear that song 300 million times. That is torture. And you'd never be able to prosecute it. So as a defense attorney,
if you're playing music over and over and over to an individual who has no movement, does not have the ability to turn it off, and it goes on and on. I mean, ask yourself, as the reasonable person, what would the reasonable person conclude? Would they feel that if that was that individual sitting in the place of the prisoner, would you find that cruel and unusual? And I would say yes. I mean, think about it. Over and over and over, you don't get to sleep. I'm not saying it went on for this period of time. I think there were other factors involved that led to this. But again, over and over and over, yeah, I think I think there's something. I don't know if it's cruel and unusual under the statute, because how you gonna prosecute that with jury instructions? But it's definitely abusive.
Here's the other side of that, though. What if you are a person and for some odd reason you like that song? And you're sitting there, you're going to play Baby Shark for the next 8 hours?
Yeah, maybe if you're 5, maybe if you're 6 years old, Craig Russell.
Or maybe they've got a kid and they're so used to that song or whatever. I mean, I would think something that causes you physical pain or harm or anguish, like, playing something that's screeching that would cause hearing damage. That's one thing. Playing a
mental
song.
Mental abuse, being forced to listen to something over and over and over. We don't know the volume of the song. We don't know how small the cell was that allowed, the speakers. I don't know. You know more about the music industry and sound than I do. How turned up was that noise? Baby Shark, it's going to drive me crazy for the rest of the day that I had to listen to this during our own show.
Sure.
So,
but it's subjective. But that's subjective, though. What if you like that song? Then it's not torture.
But what court administrator, sure. Yeah, hey, breaking news, folks. Court administrators across the country are now going to start playing Baby Shark in the hallways of all the halls of justice of this country. No, but what jail administrator would allow its deputies and those in charge of jails to pipe in music? If you're going to pipe in music, Pipe in some Guns N' Roses. Pipe in some Doors. Just destroy it with music. How about some country music?
How about some Red Skies at Night? How about The Fix?
How about some Red Skies at Night? The Fix. I love The Fix. You threw me off. Character defect. I'm just jacked up and chillaxed right now.
But could you,
with a little ice cream cake, and you said The Fix.
Could you not argue, though, that more than likely it has to do with the intent? Whether or not that person is tortured by the baby shark, they were intending to torture, because they generally approved that you would generally believe that most adults don't want to hear that. Well, the question is, you have to look at
case law. You have to look at case law.
Okay.
And let's say it's a country out there, or how about any great state, because we love our country, we love the United States. You have to look at case law, and you have to try to query, you like how I said that?
Yeah.
Any type of information out there, keynotes or case law, where music was considered a form of cruel and unusual punishment. So if you're talking a specific state, you have to look to see if Oklahoma case law references music as a form of cruel and unusual punishment. And again, the prosecutor would have to create a jury instruction to fit the type of charge that they're trying to get the jury to agree with. They're part of the case. But as defense attorney, I'm arguing, on behalf of the deputies and jail administrator. Again, it depends on the facts. I mean, as a defense attorney, your case is only as good as the facts of the case. You see what I'm saying, Craig?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to defend a case, that's what you're asking yourself. Just because someone's being charged, can the prosecutor prove it? And just because someone's guilty, the prosecutor still has to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's really what it comes down to. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got to prove it. So what a great conversation for segment 2. We got to take a break on the Todd.
I say we play some Baby Shark going out, Craig.
I think we can do that too, and we won't.
Are we going to be sued for cruel and unusual punishment to all our listeners across the globe for this?
If we weren't already sued before Baby Shark came along, we're in a lot of trouble now, man.
Oh boy, this one goes out to Little John, by the way. Play some Baby Shark for Little John and Todd Wakely, my good friend Todd
John,
Wakely.
John, Little John, Little John.
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. We love you. You love me.
Oh, stop. Now that's torture. Now there's some torture.
Oh, Barney. Someone's so smart out there. Come on.
Oh, yeah,
Someone
they know.
is really
they
smart
knew.
out there.
They knew.
Yeah.
They
Every
knew exactly
other
what they were
year,
doing,
it's a different song. It's a different toy. It's a different conversation.
You know that that Baby Shark song has been is the most viewed video ever on YouTube with over 7.5 billion views.
I thought your McRib YouTube show on that fast food guy was the most viewed video.
No, it's a nice thought. It's a nice idea, but it is not. It's Baby Shark. It is.
Yeah,
Baby
and be
Shark.
sure to subscribe to Craig's channel. What is it, Craig?
Please, it's that fast food guy on YouTube.
Yeah, that fast food guy.
I would like to know something, Todd. So some little old lady thinks you don't know how to read instructions. What?
So I'm at a store, one of those big box stores that had all the Christmas displays being set up in the aisles.
Okay.
I failed to realize that there was a small paper sign that said sales start Friday. I think this was on a Wednesday.
Okay. So you were a little early.
A little early.
All right.
I'm pushing the cart through the store. I found a really good pair of Carhartt jeans.
Okay.
And as I'm pushing the cart, I realized that because it had rained outside and the store failed to wipe the cart off, that I was just going to purchase a blanket. Like, I think they had these little soft, cozy, blankets for $3.99 that were on sale. Those really fuzzy, throw blankets.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I pick up the blanket and I throw it in a cart. I didn't really need the blanket, but I figured, okay, look, my cart's wet. My Carhartt pants are dry. I'll buy the blanket, throw it in a cart so I can put my new Carhartt pants in the cart.
Okay.
So I go to the next big section as I'm walking through the middle of the store. I grab the blanket, I put it in the cart, put the Carhartt pants on top of it, to which I hear out of the back of my noggin this voice, and it was screeching, excuse me, but can't you read? The sign says that sales don't take place until Friday. And it's like, and I'm right away, I'm always calm before I unleash, Craig, because I'm very, I'm going to think about what's taken place, what my response may or may not be. I'm very calculated, depending upon the circumstances. As a lawyer, out in public,
sure.
If I'm, having a discussion with someone, and I looked over my shoulder, and it was this little old lady, respectfully. I mean, literally a little old lady. I mean, what's old? I mean, and again, no disrespect to the little old lady, but she was, she was probably up there in years. I'm not, and I didn't work at Cedar Point. I can't
100?
guess people's weight, age, and size. At least 102.
At least 102. Okay.
And I said, I didn't know that, which, I did know that, by the way, but I figured, okay, look, I'm Todd. I'm an attorney. I'm going to push it a little bit here if I can. So I'm thinking, okay, even though it says sales start Friday, maybe I take it up to the front, and they already entered the UPC code, folks. How do you like that? Uniform Commercial Code, UPC code, into their system, so they'll scan it and allow me to buy it 2 days earlier because they're already on display. I didn't see the little teeny tiny paper sign that said sales, not till Friday. So in the meantime, a worker approached, and I said, hey, can I buy these today? And she said, no, they have not been inputted into the system yet, so then I can't scan anything. Says, okay. So I put the jeans back, and then I put the blanket back. And when I put that blanket back into its bin, this little lady, she tore into me. She goes, oh my goodness, you didn't just use that blanket to wipe your cart, and you had no intention of paying for it. Is that what you were doing? Craig, I'm not exaggerating. This little lady was stalking when I was doing, and she just tore into me. And then I just, I'm not going to confront, out of respect for who this lady was. She's probably a nice lady. I don't know if she was having a bad day, but I'm definitely not going to get into an argument, one, with a woman, because I respect women, and let alone a little old lady in the middle of a store. I am an attorney, and people know who I am. If I was in another state or another county, maybe I would, counter her rage against me. So she was accusing me. She goes, you obviously don't know how to read, do you? And I said to her, I go, well, you are obviously, this is what I said, literally, I said, ma'am, I was very respectful in my tone. I said, ma'am, you are obviously someone who has great skill in identifying those of us who cannot read. And I put the blanket back in the bin, and I put the jeans back, and I went about my way. But look, I intended on buying the blanket, but she took it as if I took the blanket just to wipe the cart and then put it back in and not intend on buying it. You see, Craig? So that's my little old lady story that I just lost every listener that tunes into this show.
Especially all the ones over 102 years old.
But look, I can light it up. If somebody is, I'll just say, I bit my tongue on that one. And and absolutely would I again under the circumstances. It's not necessary to get into a confrontation over something so meaningless when there's so many other issues and people going through so much pain in the world. I wasn't going to sit there and cause any disruption in a store where other people are shopping with this little old lady. Although, folks, just let it be known that I was pent up inside. I've learned. I'm older. I just let it go.
Let me say this. You know how you could avoid some of these issues from time to time?
How's that, Craig?
I would say if you carried some, what is the strain of the day today? Ice cream cake? What is that? Is that what it's called?
Ice cream cake, baby, which is a cross between your favorite wedding cake and M66 favorite, gelato.
If you would have just carried some ice cream cake with you and said, "Look, ma'am, here can I offer you a little bit of ice cream cake?" I think you would have maybe had a much different situation. Maybe a much better shopping experience all around.
I mean, she was a nice lady. I don't fault her whatsoever. I was not in a suit. I was looking pretty scraggly, which just goes to show you again how people.
Oh yeah.
How people
judge you.
When I'm in a suit, when I'm in one of my Italian suits with my hair slicked back, with my black patent shiny shoes, Craig.
Way different. Yep.
I'm not kidding you.
You can get away.
People
with
treat you completely different.
Murder.
And no, I would say to all of our awesome listeners out there, our good friends, we have so many great men and women that listen to this show all over the world. If you are somebody who is not used to wearing a suit with fancy shoes and a tie all dialed up, go ahead and do that and watch how people in everywhere you go treat you different. I mean, everywhere. It's such is it dichotomy, Craig? Is that the right word?
Sure, that works out. Yep. Dichotomy.
Not sure what the definition of that is, but when I wear a suit and I'm all dialed in and people treat you completely different.
Yep.
But I'm not a suit kind of guy. When I'm not in a suit, I'm just wearing some baggy cargo pants, a T-shirt, some Carhartt, maybe some Wranglers, sometimes some cowboy boots, maybe some steel-toed shoes. I'm not making this up. I'll wear my Columbia boots with my pants in my North Face, okay? But people, and I had a hat on that day, just like a snowboard cap that I have because I snowboard.
Sure.
So I had a snowboard cap on. I had, I don't know, a hoodie of some kind and some camo pants I was wearing.
Yeah, you did.
And that's how this, and I look completely, unlawyer-like, which is, there's something wrong about that, though. But anyhow, Craig. Hey, Craig, I got a question for you.
Well, hold on. Before we go any further, I've got a question for you. You remember when people used to mind their own business and didn't feel they had to stick their nose?
When was that, Craig?
That was back in the olden days before the internet came along. This is all because of the internet, unfortunately. That's the downside.
Yeah. Hey, all right, now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Let's talk about places around the world. What are some of the worst places to get busted with weed if you're on vacation?
I would think, obviously, any place that doesn't allow you to partake in any kind of cannabis of any sort. I would.
Well,
think
you got to imagine that some countries, and you would think, and I don't have any proof of this, might overlook it.
Sure. Sure.
But so people always ask, I don't know, Todd. Well, what about Amsterdam?
I was going to say,
not Amsterdam.
England, maybe? England? Would England?
Well, Amsterdam and Jamaica have been known for years, decades.
Sure.
Bob Marley, hello, Amsterdam, for their cannabis culture, and they welcome pot tourists. And, you got to remember both Canada and Uruguay, which was, if not the first country, have fully legalized recreational weed.
Sure.
But then if you go around the globe, Indonesia is not a place you want to get caught with weed, folks.
Okay.
I mean, beautiful beaches. They got volcanoes, a huge tourist destination for scuba divers and all kinds of people just traveling the world.
But they don't want
cannabis is a Group 1 drug there, Craig.
They don't want to use your ice cream cake there. You don't want to use that.
They won't. If you get caught in Indonesia, it's a maximum 4 years in prison.
Wow.
And or mandatory rehabilitation.
Wow.
And if you're busted growing a certain amount, it's 20 years in jail to life in Indonesia.
Holy moly.
Yeah. There was a British guy who was facing up to 15 years in Bali's in one of their prisons for being caught with 31 grams of THC oil, folks, that he used for arthritis.
Wow.
So, yeah. And there was another surfer that I read that received the oil in the mail from a friend in Thailand, and he was charged with smuggling. But what about Japan? We never talk about Japan.
Japan is a strange thing because on the one hand, Japan, I could see them being very lax about things like that. But on the other hand, it's a very traditional society, and I see them being very strict about things like that.
Yeah, I love Japanese culture for sure.
Yeah.
Under the Japanese Cannabis Control Act, folks, weed possession can lead up to 5 years in jail.
Wow.
I know, right? And a potential fine of up to $18,000. And if you're caught and convicted of growing, importing, and exporting weed, okay, 7 to 10 years and a potential fine of $27,000 and up.
That's a long time. That's a really long time.
And my sources tell me, I don't have any sources, but it sounds pretty cool. My sources tell me that weed arrests are on the rise in Japan. Way back, let's see, in 2017, they had about 3,000, which isn't really a lot, to 3,500 in 2018, and it's gone up from there.
Wow. Boy, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Don't get caught in Japan.
Don't get caught in Japan. What about Singapore?
Singapore, probably, I don't know, if it's like Indonesia, I would say it's probably just the same.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught in Singapore, another beautiful country, very strict. It's illegal to litter there, spit, smoke, in public. Chew. That's a country, I think we may have touched on this a long time ago. You can't even chew on public transit systems there. So it doesn't surprise me that the country's weed laws, folks, are among the toughest in the world. And you ready for this, Craig?
Okay.
What do you think the maximum amount of jail time is in Singapore if you get caught with any type of a small amount of possession of weed?
Maximum amount?
Maximum amount of years in jail, possession of weed. Now, remember, in Michigan, when it was illegal, I mean, it still is if you're under 21 and you're not a medical card holder, it carried 0 up to a year in jail, plus fines, plus costs, driving sanctions. What do you think it is in Singapore if you get caught with a small amount of weed?
10 years.
You're correct.
Wow.
Up to a maximum of 10 years in jail or a $20,000 fine.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Just stay here. Don't go anywhere. Just stay here.
How about the UAE, United Arab Emirates? How about Dubai?
It's probably as strict.
I mean, it can be considered possession even if you have drugs in your system in the UAE, which is punishable by a maximum of 4 years in jail and or a $2,700 fine. So there was another, what is it with the British? Another British
I don't know.
Individual was sentenced to 4 years in jail way back in 2008. Maybe things have changed for having 0.003 grams of cannabis stuck in his shoe in an airport. I mean, this weed literally, that's like the size of a grain of sugar. But Dubai, great destination for world travelers out there. Dubai is a lot of people who travel the world and tourists.
A lot of business stuff goes on in Dubai.
Yeah, beautiful new buildings, and boy, they got a lot of interesting things going over there. How about in Turkey?
Don't get caught with weed there. Don't get caught.
Yeah, what about Turkey?
Turkey is probably much more lax.
I mean, they do have medical cannabis in Turkey. Recreational consumption, from my understanding, is still illegal. And again, you got to ask yourself, knowing that tourists like to arrive and smoke weed, especially in all these countries that are now legal, Canada, Uruguay, United States. I mean, do they look the other way? So
and plus on top of it, you can't. It's not like you can bring it in with you. You got to get it there.
So if you're traveling anywhere around the world, when you're able to travel,
be aware.
Be aware of what the laws are.
No kidding.
Literally, you do not want to be stuck in a foreign country. But if you are caught in a foreign country, the first thing I'm thinking of as an attorney is getting a hold of our embassy if one exists in that country.
Yeah.
let somebody know where you're going, for goodness sakes.
Exactly. That's some.
Let Greg Russell know.
Because I might want to give you a McRib or something like that. So
there you go with the McRibs. Look, I can't eat meat if it's on a bone. I gotta look the other way.
There's no bone in a McRib.
I know there's no bone, but I think of ribs.
I know. We got to take a break on the Todd L. Levitt Law Show. When we come back, we'll wrap the show up after this.
Welcome back to the Todd L. Levitt Baby Shark Show, where we're going to play Baby Shark 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for all of our good listeners out there.
And torture
Craig Russell, the
torture you.
Muscle.
Yes.
Torture you,
yeah. Yes, that's right.
Hey, Craig, what are some of the locations on your YouTube channel that you consumed a lot of cholesterol at this past week?
Let's see. There's a Popeye's Chicken and a McDonald's and Taco John's, which is a regional taco franchise, fast food restaurant, more in the Midwest than East Coast area or something like that. And Hardee's. So lots of good stuff. Lots of stuff coming in the pipeline. That Fast Food Guy on YouTube, also on Twitter and on Facebook. So join.
Yeah, and make sure. Yeah, absolutely. Great show. Make sure you subscribe to That Fast Food Guy, but also subscribe to our show right here on all the different podcasting platforms.
Yeah.
And downloads are up substantially. I mean, just thousands and thousands. So please, Sparky and all our friends around the world, hey, let us know that you're listening out there. Send us an email. Where to, Craig?
Todd Levitt Law Show at gmail.com. That's Todd Levitt, Levitt, Law Show at gmail.com.
Craig, question for you.
Todd, answer for you.
And it has nothing to do with Red Skies at Night, by the way, by The Fix. Great song we're playing today for the listeners.
Yes.
So a cheerleader kicked off the squad for Snapchatting an F-word post.
Okay.
A cheerleader was unhappy when he or she got home. They went on Snapchat, which I have no idea how to use Snapchat. I just know that there was a lot of people on Snapchat.
Yep.
And the school kicked this person, actually a young lady, off the squad. What say you? Was the school right in doing that? And how do you think the federal appeals court ruled? In favor of the cheerleader or in favor of the Pennsylvania school district?
You know, it's a hard one.
That's the question.
It's a hard one to decipher because, now I'm guessing this
I don't think so.
This person under 18? Do you know?
Well, it doesn't matter. This person's in high school. So forget if they're 18 or not. What, just because you're 18 or over, you can't use the F word?
No, it's because when you're under 18, you have a lot less freedoms than when you're over 18.
I disagree. I completely,
was it her personal?
Unequivocally, it depends on which amendment and which part of the Constitution you're referring to.
I'm just saying,
you say because you're under 18. No, I would say that states choose to violate people's constitutional rights. I mean, how is it you can sign up for the military, go off and fight for our freedoms, and we love our military, we love our vets, we love the Constitution. How is it you can go fight for our freedoms, but then you live in a state where you have to be 21 and over to consume alcohol? How is that? You're 18. Well, you could die for our country, but you can't have a drink at the local pub.
But if you're under, you're under 18,
how do you justify that?
But
I don't, and I think that's wrong.
If you're under 18, you have a lot less freedoms. There's the other part of it. Now, this Snapchat,
you're not considered an adult until you're 18.
Was this a personal Snapchat account, or was
it was a personal Snapchat account that took place?
Where was she Snapchatting at? Was it in school or at home?
That's the issue.
No, because if she's in
she
school,
was not in school.
Well, then was she wearing the cheerleading, like the sweater or something where you could see the school's name? Did she use the F word in relation to defaming somebody at the school? Because if you just do something in your own home, in your own personal property, it's not a Snapchat. It's not the cheerleading squad Snapchat account, and she has not got any kind of notification.
This young lady was upset because she made the junior varsity squad rather than the varsity cheerleading team.
Okay.
And when she got home on Snapchat, she flipped the bird up and said, F the school, F this, F that, and there you go. So
and you're under 18, I think, yeah.
Well, here's the ruling. A federal appeals court has ruled, rightfully so, that a Pennsylvania school district violated a high school cheerleader's First Amendment rights when it kicked her off the squad for a Snapchat message. And you can probably hear my dog, German Shepherd, in the background dropping her ball.
She's flipping you off right now. So there you go.
For sure. Yeah, my dog is definitely, she's all over the place. She's going crazy there. But it was the Third U.S. Circuit, a court of appeals in Philadelphia, and it ruled for the team.
Win one for the ACLU.
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah,
I mean that was a good ruling right there.
I'm surprised. I'm amazed that's the way it happened. Because I would have thought that when you're under 18, you don't have nearly as many freedoms, especially when it comes to things like that. Because that's new technology. When there was a leading
I looked up a case, a leading U.S. Supreme Court decision for the show here, folks. Tinker versus Dez. Okay. and that involved a Des Moines, Iowa community school district. And that ruling was the court ruled that the suppression did not apply to off-campus speech. And basically that case held that a student speech can be regulated only if it would substantially disrupt school operations or interfere with the rights of others.
Right.
And that case, and that's a case, an important case. So again, the school had no right to suppress and kick this person off the squad if her speech, did not disrupt school operations or interfere with the rights of others. And I don't see how it would or could by a private Snapchat post in her own home.
And now here's a question: Do you know?
So
what,
I agree with that ruling.
Do you know what the penalty was? Did they have to reinstate her on the team? Is she now out of high school and it doesn't really matter? Did she get some kind of monetary something? What did she actually get? Did she get anything?
I do not know the answer to that. She probably was punished by her parents and forced to listen to Baby Shark over and over for getting kicked out of school and off the team. That's what I'm thinking.
That's exactly what happened.
Now.
That's
a Howard Stern thing. Hey now.
Hey now. It's also Hank from the Larry Sanders Show. Hey now.
Yeah.
Hank Kingsley.
Hey now.
Hey now. Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now, Todd. The show's
Come
over.
on, Craig. It can't be over yet.
Show's all over, man. We got to go.
Come on, Craig.
I'm serious, man. Got to go.
Hey, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Well, do you think weed is legal in Ireland? Yes or no?
No, it's not.
You're correct. It is not legal. Hemp, CBD, yes. Medical, yes. There's been some movement where doctors can now, under certain very strict circumstances, prescribe cannabis as a form of treatment. That's a whole nother show.
Guinness in Ireland? Guinness in Ireland? That's legal.
I love Ireland. I love Irish people, period.
Well, sure you do. You're part Irish.
Yeah.
That's where
I'm 3% Irish. Yes, I am.
Todd, the show's over.
Literally.
The show is over. We got to go.
Craig, we're not here for a long time. What are we here for, Craig?
Here for a good time.
That's right. Take us out with not Baby Shark, but a little bit of fix for our afternoon with some ice cream cake, red skies at night. See you next time.
The Todd L. Levitt Law Show, brought to you by Chad Malley Well Drilling of Rosebush, Clark Modular Homes, your most experienced and trusted builder in Mount Pleasant, and attorney Todd L. Levitt, not just a litigator, he's an advocator.
Opinions expressed on this radio program do not necessarily reflect the views of this radio station.